Welcome back. Let's give the Flagellant another shot here. Again, light die for our aura and the dark die for our cursed jewel. Okay, a 2 and a 3. So the Thanaturgic Presence. Had that one several times now. And number 3 is the Radiant Amulet, which allows us to swap adjacent unvisited rooms. Alright, and only costs gold to refresh. Very nice. Let's roll for our treasure map. 3, which heals us. That's nice on earlier floors. If you run into the criminal or whatever, tend to take a bit of damage here. Also, that might allow us to use our penance exploration skill if we know we've got the healing coming up. Well, whatever. Let's have a look at our first room. The ferret. Do we take this for 1 food? Why not? Let's do it. Hope we don't starve later. I don't think these abilities are incredibly strong. Discarding to prevent all negative effects of our tomb cards is good, but since we don't really have a way of knowing how many tomb cards are coming up, it's gonna be a bit of a guess usually. I guess at least 1 if we see a tomb. And the passive only matters if we actually find merchants. So let's continue here. The weapon cache, okay. Second item. And the armory. It's too much of a good thing. 3 items. I will visit the armory because I think it's the strongest of the 3. And I want to also follow our treasure map if possible. Hey, and we got the armory with 1 feed only. Actually, I think I'll leave the armory be then and keep the ferret because we just spent the food on it. And yeah, kind of want to see if we can get some use out of the ferret. We've got the nook or the fence. Okay, so this would mean if we visited the fence, we would have a shot at getting 1 gold from the ferret. However, that doesn't allow us to buy much since we don't start with any gold, although it's good for the Radiant Amulet. So why not visit the nook? But we could actually, let's maybe use our penance, losing 3 HP and gaining 1 gold and 1 XP, because we've not used this yet at all. And then when visiting the nook, we'll regain this and maybe rest for 2. That way we spend 1 HP for a piece of gold and a piece of XP, which I think is alright since we've not taken any damage so far. The Astral Chamber, that is a tomb type card where the ferret could help us. Or the City Guard. The City Guard has 8 HP, but does give gold and also XP. Do I mind fighting the City Guard? It's not great because our combat ability only activates when we get low enough. And on the last runs we've always been so low on HP. Now the Astral Chamber doesn't have much of an upside if we use the ferret to negate all the negative effects here. There's pretty much nothing left. Let's use the Radiant Amulet. Flip this, look at the top card of the room deck. We can swap it with an adjacent unvisited room, or we can just shuffle it back. So use the amulet, look at the room deck, the Orb of Light. That is better than the Astral Chamber. However, we already have the ferret. So many items on this floor. So I think this won't matter, and actually let's fight the city guard. Yeah, why not? I'll try. So the city guard has 8 HP, and this way we are also following the treasure map path. So while we might take a bit of damage here, we'll get healed for 5, so I think this will be worth it in the end. So we do 2 damage, and the city guard does 2 as well, but we have a piece of armor, so it's only 1. Another 2 damage, and another 1 for us. And another 3 damage, and another 1 for us. Come on. Okay, and there we go. Now he misses and we do 5 damage. Whatever, it's fine. Let's take 1 XP and 1 gold. Now the question is, we're gonna get healed by 5. We could use the penance now again. Because I didn't use the combat skill in that combat just now, to gain 1 more XP. However, where would that leave us? So that would leave us at 8 at the end, because we'd be healing for 5 but losing 3. Do we want that? Let's not get too greedy right now. I think it's tempting because we got the skill refresh, but let's save our HP. So we'll continue here. We'll get the 5 HP for our treasure map. We'll delve using a piece of food. I will spend 1 gold on the Radiant Amulet to refresh it. And let's draw our delving cards, 2 of them. Can either get blinded or face the ghost, which would be the criminal. Since we did not take the Orb of Light, I am going to face the criminal, though it usually does a bit of damage, but it does drop 2 XP. I feel like being blinded, while it doesn't seem as bad in the moment, it's going to really hurt us getting blinded early on if we don't get rid of that. Oh, also, I just realized our torment should have progressed because we entered combat against the city guard, and now we're entering combat again against the criminal. Something to keep in mind. So 10 HP, we still have a piece of armor. And let's roll here. That's an X, which we will keep. So for each X kept in combat, we suffer 1 less damage, meaning the criminal, or it's the thug actually, does 2. 1 gets blocked by our armor and 1 gets blocked by the spectral veil. So that's nice. At least if we miss, we don't take any damage. And there's a crit. Let's reroll that. Nice, okay. That's already enough. 12 damage. Very clean criminal fight here. So 2 more XP for us. That's the criminal taken care of. And we get to look at our next boss, the Cursed Dragon. Not too bad. Not my least favorite boss to face on floor 1. Though I would like to maybe get another piece of armor till then to be able to block that curse, or block the damage. Okay, I'll reset here. So the thing I'm realizing about the Flagellant is that combat skill really only is useful early game, because late game we want to be at high HP. I mean, these sort of risky classes where you get a bonus for being at low HP, they exist in other games, video games or board games, but or even pen and paper games, tabletop games, that kind of thing. And I think it's a fun concept, but usually those games then allow you to stay at low HP, but maybe really increase your armor, or like something like dodge chance or that kind of thing. So some other means of making that HP last. On the later floors, since our armor is kept at 4, the enemies always do damage to you, pretty much, because many pierce armor, or they hit for 7, 8 9 and you can have a maximum of 4 armor. So I wouldn't feel comfortable on the later floors to be at 7 or below just to get that extra damage in combat. So I think the combat skill is going to be pretty much useless towards the end of the game. And the penance doesn't seem too great either. I mean, if we can use it maybe one more time effectively, I'd be happy. And if we get like swamped with healing potions or healing from some source, then it's great. And actually I realize now, if you find an empty shelter maybe, or the fireplace in the next room, you can, and you are around 10 somewhere or lower, you can happily use the penance and then walk over there and get healed up to 10. However, I think most other cases we are going to be not looking at using that. So I think we're really playing this with less character abilities used than would usually be the case. Okay, let's roll for the treasure map here. A 2 this time, which is 1 XP, which is very nice. Now getting to level 2 for the dragon would be great. Let's have a look. A trap, our first trap. Moving into there. Now, again, this has been set in the FAQ, and I don't know if the updated rulebook contains it as well. You can use exploration skills when moving onto the first room of the next floor. So we would now have the ability to maybe use the Radiant Amulet, because I feel like we don't have a great shot at that trap. So I will use the Radiant Amulet to look at the top room here, see if it's anything better. Very funny. Now the trap we have here is quite nasty. Losing the food is bad, losing the armor is terrible, and getting poisoned is bad. This one also has poison, has 1 HP. I think all in all, these failures are less bad. However, the pit is really bad, falling down. That killed us last time, or with some delay, but essentially led to us dying. So what's the play here? I think I'm gonna exchange this and try that and hope we don't fall down. Famous last words, because I don't think we have another way of preventing this or somehow getting around this trap. No. Let's roll. So that's at least not a fall. That's the poison spikes, which means we lose 1 HP and we are poisoned. Sucks. But oh well, let's continue. Ooh, empty shelter. I was just talking about that a moment ago. Or the luring glint. Treasure. We encountered a trap, so we'd be getting 3 gold. And we're increasing our torments, but oh, there's the chance at 3 XP or piece of armor, like really juicy. Treasure. However, we still have to roll a success for that, and that's unlikely. So I think the empty shelter with the what's it called? With the penance is the right call here. So let's use this. 3 HP, we gain 1 XP and 1 gold. We move on here, we heal back up to 10. We roll, ideally we'd get a holy potion or maybe a healing potion. Or some XP, lots of really good stuff here for us. So that's a 2, which is the fighter's shelter, okay. Fire potion, poison potion, or 2 XP, I will take the 2 XP. Though fire would be really nice for the fight, actually. But no, the extra die is just, it's great for every roll we have to do, skill checks and that. So yeah, that was fine, I think. Does mean we deviated from our treasure map, but I think this worked out just fine. A monster or the horror, and we don't have the Radiant Amulet. Now the monster is the blind worm, which actually isn't terrible on this floor. The horror would just increase our torment, which is fine, I think, could be worse. I don't know what the next line reads. Because we have the choice and because I think we can do 8 damage pretty likely with our dice in 2 rounds, I will visit the monster. And this also increases our torments then, because we're entering combat. Ooh, skill refresh prevented. That isn't great. But only on bonfires, okay. So 8 HP. And let's roll. But this just has so tempting rewards. Okay, so we are doing 9 damage. The poison didn't trigger. So we just kill the monster outright. Very nice. And we get a reward here. I will take the coins for the amulet, and if we ever find a merchant, the ferret so far has done nothing to us or for us. And we'll roll for a boss reward, which is very nice. I would take just about anything here. Armor would be perfect. HP would be appreciated, but extra food, extra XP, I think we can't go wrong here. So a 4, that's armor. Very nice, okay. Things are looking up. This is off to a better start than our last runs with the, what's he called? The flagellant. And we've got the sentinel or the treasure, I think easy choice. Do we just keep checking here, but it's only when we enter combat, because there's some auras that increase your torments when you visit treasure, right? So visit the treasure, we gain 2 gold because we already fought and also visited a trap. We get to roll, we have a higher chance of actually getting something thanks to a level up. And we do take 1 poison damage, but we do get number 2. Reward number 2 is 1 XP or 1 gold. I think easy choice between those two. Yeah, so I think things are picking up speed here, as long as the dragon fight doesn't go horribly for some reason. We are looking fine. So 12 HP here, we have no combat skills, nothing in the way of potions, so just have to roll 12 damage, but as long as the dragon doesn't crit, we are immune, thanks to our armor. So didn't crit and didn't even get poisoned. We are doing 10. Let's try here. Was a bit unnecessary actually, because we would have got to roll right afterwards, but for style points we are one-shotting the boss here. And we get 2 more XP and another reward from the reward table. I will keep taking the gold, because a reward is supposed to be good, and lore cards can be terrible, though not all of them are, but that would just suck, getting the boss reward and then the lore card is some tough combat or something. Okay, and we get to roll again here. Number 2 again. No, wait, that was on the different card. So frost potion or for poison, our first potion. Do we take a scroll or do we take the frost? Because early on the frost isn't great compared to some healing and so on, because but it can prevent a nasty status effect. I think let's take the frost. Okay, so Cursed Dragon dealt with, and we get to delve. 1 food, move down, didn't get a treasure map. I will spend a gold to refresh the Radiant Amulet. We get to refresh our skill check. This does not, our skill, sorry. This does not increase our torment, because this is only, oh sorry, I was even confusing this with another one. So the skill refresh is only prevented when we visit a bonfire, and refreshing our skill some other way also doesn't increase our torment. So let's draw delving cards. Have a look here. The Bed Lair. Oh, the Settlement Ruins. Okay. I think we've now gained 3 boss rewards on this floor, from the monster, the boss, and the Settlement Ruins. Again, I'll take the gold. So our purse is getting kind of full and don't have to roll those. Let's roll here. 5. Holy Potion of 4 HP. Let's take the Holy Potion. Because the cleanse or the Holy Potion also decreases our torments and we can get rid of the poison. Though 4 HP would be good because HP is one of our weak spots right now. It's been trending downwards with no way of increasing it. Alright, area 3, let's roll the treasure map. I also just realized that I forgot to increase my torment when entering the boss combat. So we should be up to 4 now, but that doesn't make a difference because line 4 is blank. Yeah, so let's look at our first room. Secret passage. Do we play super careful and switch that out using the Radiant Amulet? I don't think so, because there's worse cards that we might encounter. And since we are looking pretty fine, I think we can deal with a lore card even if it's a bad one. The Explorer's Gift. This room is filled with rubble and piles of broken bricks. You take a second look and one brick has a glint of metal on it. You move closer and find a gold piece. We can take it and leave, no drama, 1 gold, or we can search the rubble, drama. 3 HP for 1 XP and for 1 gold, so that's like a penance ritual. I don't feel comfortable spending 3 HP right now, so I will just take the piece of gold, though it is the boring choice. Let's continue. So for our treasure map, getting the armor would be really nice, and we have to zigzag down here. So let's see what's here. Armory. I'm tempted to replace the ferret because it has done nothing for us so far. Now this is a chance of using the ferret actually to prevent falling down on the corridor, but doesn't really make the corridor an attractive card, right? Because if we prevent all negative effects, that means the only thing that remains is the extra food, and we're very likely to just get nothing. So actually, let's visit the armory, see if we can get more than 1 feat, and I think then I would replace the ferret probably. But we can't get anything except poisoned. I should use the Holy Potion soon. I was just waiting for, you know how it is, waiting for a shrine or some cleanse. Some free cleanse. Okay, actually quite nice chance of using the ferret here with the tomb card. Though I would like visiting the treasure, but that doesn't really guarantee us getting anything good except for 1 gold. And the tomb has some nice stuff, and then we're still on track for a piece of armor from the treasure map. Now fighting the ghost or the criminal probably wouldn't be the worst thing, and it can give us XP, but I will just use the ferret here. So we will discard it to prevent all negative effects of all tomb cards in this area and move on to the tomb card. And I think when doing so, I will just drink the Holy Potion, which decreases our torment and gets rid of our poison. And now we get to roll here, and we don't have to worry about fighting or losing food. So this is just going to be good. It's the codex. We can turn that into a gold piece if we want, but I think we'll take the XP because we're full on gold. And let's continue. A nook, okay. A skill refresh is still prevented, but it's not like we would want to use our skill right now. Or the city guard. I'm messing up the cards here. The nook is interesting because we are running low on food. However, the city guard, while a bit of a tough fight, would then also gain us that piece of armor afterwards. Because we already have 2 pieces, he's only doing 1 damage each round. I think it's still acceptable. And if he crits, we could use a frost potion, for example. still acceptable to fight him, although he only gives us 1 XP and we're wasting the gold. Let's do it for the armor. So 11. We've done more in 1 single hit, so maybe. No luck there. Actually, he misses, so this is completely free, very nice. So just 5 damage for us. And again, the X, that just blocks damage, so that does nothing here. Roll again. And he misses again, and that's 7 damage. Okay, wasn't having a great day, the guy. Okay, so 1 XP, 2 gold that we waste. However, this allows us to now move here and gain a piece of armor, which I'd say we're looking pretty nice here. With the armor and our gold, with the frost potion, weak spots are HP and food, because we're now spending our last piece. Moving down. Don't have anything to refresh. Let's look at our delving cards. They have been good for us so far. Poison or the puzzle gate? The puzzle gate is so tempting, but 2 XP is quite bad. But I think I can't pass up this opportunity. So let's try the skill check to maybe get a 4th piece of armor here. Let's roll. Do we have any way to... No, we don't have perception or anything else to enhance our odds here. Hey, and that's a success. So, 4th piece of armor, very strong, especially this early on. So now we get to look at our next boss, the Inquisitor. Does 4 damage and we have 4 pieces of armor, so very nice. And yeah, I think that's everything. Didn't have to refresh the Radiant Amulet because we didn't use it. Alright, onwards. Let's roll here. Okay, 1, that's gold. That is not of much interest to us at the moment. See, the Hermit. We won't get a skill refresh, but I don't want to use the penance anyways. And we can't really use the Hermit to great advantage, I think, either. Because we don't have food to share. And I don't want to spend XP right now, and swapping cards that are face down does nothing. So maybe this is an ideal candidate for the Radiant Amulet. Again, there are way worse cards, but just to eke out a bit of an advantage. The Burrowing Worm. That is nice. I will take that. And the reason is, now the Burrowing Worm can get dangerous, because it can send you falling down. But usually you're able to kill it before it does, because it only has 6 HP. And we have the Frost Potion. So actually it would have to crit twice. Because the first time it crits, we would use the Frost Potion to not fall down. And yeah, it would have to crit twice before we can do 6 damage. So less talking, more rolling. Yeah, it's dead. Okay, that's the Burrowing Worm done, and it drops 2 XP, which is great. That's always one of the few monsters that I'm happy to see. Okay, should move my token. Actually, this increases because we entered combat. Tomb again. Ooh, or the Luring Glint. That is truly luring me. Now, fighting the criminal on floor 2, or the cut purse. Yeah, I mean, our armor is so high that we have pretty good odds in most of these. And this offers some healing. But the increased torment might screw us, actually. 1 was the gold. And this could give us food which we need. Yeah. I think it's not the right time for the Luring Glint, because the gold we can't do anything with. So we'd be increasing our torments just for the gold, and if we then don't roll a success, we've just taken torment for no reason. So let's actually visit the tomb right now. So I don't know if I want to fight the Tormentor right now. Our armor really helps our odds, but the HP is still kind of low. And the Frost Potion we might need for the Inquisitor. So let's roll here. Not a success, that's a 5, which is a Red Swarm, which loses us 1 food. So 1 HP. The Alarm Tower. Or the Soothsayer. Ah, here we go. There is a merchant for the first time. So I think it'd be wrong not to visit the merchant, though we are then forced to visit this card because our Radiant Amulet has been used. So if this is the deathbed or something of that sort, we might regret this. But just being able to buy some food here, actually that food poisons us. That's not great at all. What's worse, starving ones or getting poisoned? But we can also buy a holy potion then. So I think this works out. This is going to be a bit expensive, but let's buy 2 food for 3 gold. And actually, you know what? Let's buy 2 more food for 3 gold. And now we can buy for the remaining 4 gold a holy potion. And we are poisoned. Our torment increases because of the potion. But then we can drink the holy potion, which gets rid of our poison and decreases the torment again, back down to 4. And we are out of gold, but the boss will drop 2 gold on the rewards card, so we will be able to refresh our Radiant Amulet. And this way we won't have to worry about food for a while. So I think that really was great value from our gold. 4 pieces of food for 10 gold. That's an okay deal. Yeah, let's continue. The library. Now that can be good. I again don't want to use my penance, though I would love extra XP. But we're just too low here. Okay, that's a success on a 2, which is poetry. That's a skill refresh. We can turn that into a 3, or the Mimic Book now. The Mimic Book, the criminal in other words, might actually be the choice here. Because unless he crits, he's doing no damage to us, and that's 2 XP to our name. And we still have the Frost Potion if things get really bad. So actually, this might be one of the occasions where you willingly fight the criminal. So 12 HP. We really gotta use this high armor while the monsters are doing less than 4 damage, because on the later floors they do more, and the armor obviously still blocks HP, but on these floors it also prevents the status effects, which is the real value, I think. So let's roll here. And he is critting, okay. Of course he is. We're doing 10, so let's reroll this crit. And it turned into a 3, so we're doing 13, which is just enough. So got a bit lucky there. 2 XP, but that worked out really nicely. And let's continue onwards into the Inquisitor fight. He's got 18 HP, does 4 damage and curses us, and he is immune to magic. Oh, actually, what was I saying? We can use the Frost Potion if he crits. We can't, because we can't use potions against him. Well, okay, we'll just have to hope he doesn't crit. Because then we'd be looking bad. And there he goes, critting. Let's see here. So I will first reroll the crit to just see where we can get to. You have to believe me, this turned into another crit. So we are at 12 right now. I will roll this again, though it's a bit greedy. Okay. I won't re-roll it again. This is 18 damage. This is already enough. I was planning on just re-rolling this, see if we're getting close, and then do a feat on this to somehow maybe eke out the 18. Or just take the damage, because we also have the Spectral Veil. Yeah, I mean 18 damage with one single die. Why not? Yeah, so this run is definitely going way better than the last two, but that is in part to some really nice dice luck or die luck in our fights so far. Actually, this should have increased again because we entered combat twice. We entered it against a criminal as well. So the criminal would have had the savage effect, but that didn't matter. Yeah. Okay, Inquisitor done. We get 3 XP, so we are now at level 3, and we get the reward. So 2 gold, and let's roll. Let's hope for something else than armor this time, maybe just some healing. That's really what we're missing now. 5, okay, Holy Potion of 4 HP. I just said healing, but the Holy Potion is good. Good to have, especially since it decreases our... But we're getting kind of close to fighting the Tormentor, so I think getting our HP up there is our priority right now. So we'll be happy with that. Get rid of the Inquisitor. Let's delve using all of that food we just bought. And we get to look at some delving cards. Lose 1 food. All the old mine cards. Let's try it. The skill checks are too tempting, just because we're level 3 now as well. And there's 1 success here. These 6s have been great for us. So 1 more XP. And let's continue downwards. When delving, I forgot to refresh the Radiant Amulet here. But I think no harm done if we do it right now before visiting the first room, so I think it's still fine. Okay, so quick update. We're at level 3. We are really looking for some HP or maybe a good potion or scroll. We've got the Radiant Amulet. We've got to roll the treasure map here. 1 again. Gold. I mean, you can use it at the moment, but let's not bend over backwards to get that gold. Let's focus on the rooms. Yeah, might be fighting a Tormentor soon. Now, third boss-wise, I was thinking, what would we prepare there? Maybe some potions. Because the Dragon and the Inquisitor are out, but there's still so many bosses remaining. Now that we've got all the expansions in there, can't really anticipate what the next few bosses are gonna be. Not like the base game where there's only four possible bosses and you see 3 of them every time. I mean, worst would probably be something like the King's Protector or the Troll, just anything that pierces armor, because we've really been relying on our armor and our HP has been actually quite bad for the most time, for the longest while. So, yeah. I think best case would probably be something like probably the Creeping Death, because that doesn't do much damage and our armor would block it, I think. Though I'm not sure on floor 3. Okay, a shrine. Do we try the Radiant Amulet on that? Because getting cursed right now would really put a damper on things. Let's do it. I feel like I've been using this on the first room several times now, but yeah, if the first room just isn't great and you don't have a choice, I think it's a perfectly fine situation to use it. Okay, Sleeping Guardian. Not great either. So this is essentially, we have great chances at just rolling a success, but if we don't, we're fighting, and we're fighting the Arbalest, which is annoying, but doesn't pierce armor. It's only doing 1 damage to us. Or an unused boss, and that might get a little dicey. Let's still do this. This might be a bit too ambitious, but I really don't want to get cursed. Let's try. Yeah, more than enough successes, and actually on a 6, which is 1 XP and 1 armor, which is usually great, but since we're already full on armor, we'd have liked a 3 or 4 for the HP there, but still way better than the shrine. So we've got the treasure or a monster, and I should move my token. Now the monster is doing 6 damage now, so our armor doesn't protect us from the curse, so suddenly fighting that monster is way less interesting than it would have been on the earlier floors. But the treasure, we've already faced a trap, so we're getting 3 here. And worst, it would probably be fighting the Arbalest, which we just said is fine. So let's visit the treasure. That's a success on a 2, which is just more gold. Yeah, this Mimic treasure kinda sucks, but I mean, we got 5 gold from it, so actually shouldn't complain. Damn Cave. Bandit. I don't see any reason of visiting the Bandit. Yeah, full stop. Let's visit the damn cave. No success, and that's a 3, but that's 1 piece of food. Okay, we're good on food so far. Hey, there's the deathbed, our old friend, or the horror. Actually, I forgot. We fought, no, we didn't fight. I was anticipating to fight, so we didn't fight, which means torment stays at 6. Did I forget anything here? I don't think so. Might have forgotten to increase the torment when visiting a bonfire earlier. No, I'm unsure. Yeah, that's one of the main drawbacks on these torment cards, is they're a bit hard to keep track of. Or if you really want to do and you ask yourself on every room, it really draws the game out. So the deathbed isn't too tempting because it poisons us. It actually doesn't go through our armor, I just saw. So maybe it wouldn't even be too bad. But the horror blinds us, which sucks. Otherwise the horror might be the way to go, because we would just increase our torments and then fight the tormentor on this floor and be done with that. Now we would be fighting the tormentor after the deathbed as well, because entering combat increases our torment. Is the deathbed worth it, the risk of getting poisoned? But we still have the frost potion, so let's do it. Let's actually fight the deathbed for once. 25 HP. As long as it doesn't crit, we're taking no damage, and because we're taking no damage, I think its regeneration also doesn't apply. So no crit there. At least not from it, crit from us, so that's 13 plus... okay, that's 7 damage. Annoying, down to 18. Let's roll again. And it misses, 12 damage from us. This is going swimmingly. And a bunch of damage. Okay, deathbed. Actually way less scary than it sounded in the first moment. So 2 gold for us and another roll on the rewards. So we're getting a potion if we want to. The 6 is a perception potion or 4 HP. Now perception or a scroll, because we can always take a scroll if we are offered a potion. Perception potion is really nice, but actually if we're now fighting the Tormentor, I should have increased this. Maybe the 4 HP aren't too bad. We've really not used the healing potion this whole run. We've just been healing through these sorts of odd little rewards and so on. Yeah, but now after resolving the current room, we flip it and face our Tormentor. And it's the Lady of Nightmares. Just 16 in the first phase. And does 5 damage, is actually immune to our Frost Potion, and it is Savage, or she is Savage, which means she rolls a 5, she does, I think, 3 extra damage. So not great. Let's see here. I'll put this down. So our rolls have gotten worse. But actually, that's not bad at all, because 11 damage. 5 damage, so putting her at 11. But the Spectral... Oh no, the Spectral Veil is gone. I just thought we'd not be taking any damage, because I still thought this 1x would be blocking damage for us. Well, in that case, let's do a feat on this to speed up the fight. Sped it up by 2, I don't know. So she does 5, we block 4 of that, we take 1 damage and we move on. Where's the glare? I put her there. Let's roll. Another X. Maybe our aura was giving us all those crits, and now that we flipped the aura, we're not rolling the crits anymore. Okay, 8 damage. Oh, that's 1 too little, and she'd be doing damage to us again. Is that worth the XP? Let's do it. Nice, so 10 damage, which means we skip her into the next phase, so she doesn't get to attack. And we treat this like a new combat now. And there are some better rolls. Oh, but she crits as well. Ugh. So 12 from us. I don't really see a likely way of getting to 16. Only if we roll a 6 on this. Because there's 5 HP on the line, let's try it. So, I think it'd be stupid not to. Yeah, but that didn't help us. So, she's down to 3 and she does 5 damage to us. Good thing we healed for 4 on the rewards. Oh yeah, and this little symbol, that's the dodge symbol. So if she rolls a 5, she ignores our highest damage die. I think is the way that works. Let's roll again. She crits again. Ridiculous, but we do enough damage before she can do so. So 2 XP for us and a reward again. Let's take the gold again. Let's roll and hope for healing again. And I think then we'll pretty much have broken even there. Okay, no healing. Frost potion of 4 gold. We have both of those, so this is the perfect time to take a scroll instead of the potion. Scroll of lightning. Not what I was hoping for. I was hoping for some healing, I think, or defense. But still, this can speed up a fight, so... And actually, we're now in a position where we can easily spend the 1 HP because we're already above level 3. So 12 damage is, yeah, actually more than fine. Okay, so that took our HP down a bit, but now we are rid of this. However, this curse wasn't too bad, you know. The ghost having Savage never mattered, the skill refresh being prevented mattered once, and we wouldn't really use our skill anyway, so this wasn't too much of a negative, this whole Torment. The worst part was the Tormentor fight, actually. Okay, but let's get rid of her. And now we get to head down. Delve to floor 6. Again, pay 1 gold for our amulet. I enjoy the Radiant Amulet. I think unsung hero of this run, being able to sort of curate your room deck a little bit, or not the room deck, but your rooms. That is probably really helping, but it's hard to tell what the impact is exactly. So we have to draw the delving cards, lose 2 gold, or flip our character card face down. Now, luckily for us, this does nothing, essentially, because I don't see us using any of the skills soon. Well, we're getting kind of low, but I'd prefer not to stay so low, so we can happily flip that face down. That's the one upside of having a useless character. And there we are. So first room. Monster. That is nasty. Now 12 HP. We can possibly do in one roll. And we do still have that Frost Potion. I should have used the Frost Potion against the Lady of Nightmares. I just realized. Well, dang it. Okay. Is this another amulet opportunity? I think so. So again, first room of the floor gets the amulet. Okay, the pit. Pit isn't great either. So we have good odds of coming out with a success here, but losing the armor would suck. The monster. Yeah, what's more likely? Rolling 12 damage before it poisons us, or rolling a success? I think rolling a success is more likely, probably. I haven't crunched the numbers. Let's try. And there's 1, okay, on a 5, so 2 XP. Doesn't do much, but that's feed fodder. And actually, if we get high enough, that might become our main way of healing. So let's continue. Oh, I just realized I have the Scroll of Lightning, so I could have totally done 12 damage in one round just using the scroll. So the monster is actually, might have been the safer choice there, but we got lucky. Okay, oh, I also need to roll the treasure map. So a 2, 1 XP for the zigzag here. Now the corridor, actually kind of tempting, because skipping a floor is not too terrible right now for us. We just need to find some more healing. However, the ambush, no, well, the Arbalest is fine. Yeah, the HP is quite low, so maybe it's not the right time to skip a floor. Let's try the lore card. Let's do it. The Dragon Slayer. A long dead body is resting in a corner, bones in the open, and a giant spear, way too heavy for you, in its back. You notice a vial on its belt. The glass is foggy, but you can guess the red fluid inside. You feel like you're going to have a bad idea. Okay, so this is one of the lore-inspired cards, and this is German. Drink the vial, which burns you from the inside, take 2 damage, and if we had other classes we could gain some benefit from this, but like that it's just 2 damage. I mean, we would have taken 2 damage if we'd fallen down. Maybe the corridor was the right choice just for the likelihood of the food, but I don't know, the lore card is just always a mixed bag. So altar or shrine, very similar. I think the altar is more tempting because now being blinded would suck, but the other stuff isn't too bad here, and we have the choice afterwards. Now the choice doesn't really help us if we're blinded. Actually, if If we spend 1 gold, there's a 1/3 chance here of getting blinded. And if we spend 1 gold on the shrine, there's a 1/3 chance of getting cursed. What's worse is the question. But also the choice. Let's do the altar. I'm not sure that's the right call, but let's just do it. So this would have been great with the amulet. So I spent the 1 gold and now we roll here. So we have +1. Nice, okay. So this turns into a 5, or that would have been a potion, but it turns into a 5. Decreasing our torment, which, because we've killed our tormentor, just means we heal 1 HP. And another monster, or the bridge. Yeah, the bridge isn't too great for us, but the monster isn't either. However, I think we take less damage against the monster probably, because if we don't do enough with our roll, we can use the frost or the lightning, and if we fail the bridge, we fail, and getting poisoned would suck. So let's do the monster. So first order of business, try to roll 12 damage, and if that doesn't work, we use the frost potion or the scroll of lightning. Okay, terrible stuff. The monster crits and we roll really badly. So maybe this is frost potion time. So 5 damage here, putting the monster at 7. And we get to roll again. And now we have to do 7 damage. And that's 7 damage. Why couldn't we roll this on the first round? Well, we get 2 XP for that, which is actually 1 XP and 1 HP. Yeah, HP isn't great. It's like steadily hovering around 10, slightly above it, slightly below it sometimes. Not amazing. Actually, we've followed accidentally the treasure map path. So we are getting 1 XP, which will be another HP now. So let's move on here. Heal for 1. And we get to delve. So 1 food. I spend the gold for the amulet. So amulet is refreshed. Character skill is refreshed. We've delved. Not quite. Have to do the delving card. Blessing or the bandit camp. Let's risk the bandit camp because the gold isn't too essential for us right now, and getting extra food would be nice. Yep, 1 piece of food. So now we, in theory, have enough food to make it to the end of the run, if we don't lose any food before that. And we get to look at our next boss, King's Protector. Okay, so that's what I was afraid of. Kinda sucks we used our frost potion just now, because that's great against him. So yeah, 6 damage piercing the armor. We won't last long, so we really have to maybe find a frost potion before that, and we'll probably save up our scroll of lightning for the King's Protector. But that still might mean we get hit once, so actually just healing. It's not like I'm not looking for it, but yeah, we've just not really had the opportunity of getting a healing potion. I guess we were at the Soothsayer earlier. She sold potions. We bought a holy potion to do the whole maneuver with our gold, turning it into 4 food. But yeah, I would really like some more potions. Yeah, many of the rewards that could have given us potions gave us armor, which is great. But now it's time for potions. Now comes the part of the game where you really need potions. Okay, let's continue. I won't cut now because already essentially done. Yeah, all in all, I think this is still looking fine. We just need to stock up a bit for the final boss. And I mean, you can always run into a few nasty monsters down there, but for now I'm not too worried. Let's roll for the treasure map. 3. And look, actually that's great because it's healing, if we can make that work. And the crow is very nice as well. So just talked about losing food, but I think this for the crow it's worth it. Similar to our amulet, we have a lot of control over the rooms we visit now. A nook or a shrine. Again, the shrine could heal us a bit and the nook heals us guaranteed, but now I want to kind of force this path number 3 where we can get 5 healing at the end of the floor as well, because that might be important after the boss fight. So maybe this is time for the crow. So I'll use this immediately, replace a revealed but unvisited room card with a random room card from the unused room deck. So that means I just draw this one and I'm replacing the shrine, turned into a trap, and get rid of the crow. Not great either. Does the treasure map mean we visit the trap and risk getting poisoned? Or do we visit the nook and don't get the 5 HP for the treasure map? I think we still visit the trap, because a holy or perception potion would be great as well. That's a success on a 4. Okay, that's a piece of armor which we have no use for. Oh well. Oh, and another trap. And the murder of crows. Okay, not a friendly floor so far. Because we have a choice after this, maybe let's use the Radiant Amulet also. So to possibly replace one of the 2. The laboratory. Can we use that? I mean, we have some gold and we have some food and we have XP to spare, so actually this might be great. So let's replace the pit with that and visit the lab. And now we can brew some healing potions. Now we will have to find more food afterwards, but so let's spend 1 food and 2 gold and 1 XP for a healing potion. And I mean, 1 food saves us 3 HP and the healing potion heals us for 6. So let's actually drink that healing potion and do the same thing again. So 1 more food, 2 more gold and 1 more XP for another healing potion. Yeah, the lab really came in handy there. On many runs this is kind of a dead card because you get it too early, you don't want to spend the XP, or you get it too late, you already have potions, or you just kind of don't, yeah, just doesn't fit. But in this case, this came at the right time. Do we do anything else here? No, we don't have food left, so we can't brew any more potions. Okay, yeah, but I'm happy with that. Oh, and the potion bandolier. Okay, now we're really... And the armory. A pick of an item before the boss. I mean, the potion bandolier is the right choice, I think, because of the holy potion. And because we're already over level 3, so we can use that, the cheap feats for the XP. So let's try this. But actually, wait a sec. I wanted the healing from the treasure map, right? How much does that holy potion help us? Because we did just get a lot of healing. I think with our Scroll of Lightning and so on, we are now ready to kill the King's Protector, and we can allow ourselves to again look a bit more long term instead of short term healing and try that Potion Bandolier. Or not, okay, didn't get it. Let's continue into the boss. So that is annoying, but we just have to take it. 20 HP, does 6 damage, piercing armor, and we roll. So I think the scrolls can be used like potions, so after the die roll, which is why I am rolling first. To maybe look for stuff like this, where he misses. Or if we are able to do 14 damage, we only have to use the weak Scroll of Lightning effect to kill him. So we would not have to spend the XP then. Okay, like this. Let's just take, or do we take this as a bunch of free damage and do feats here? Don't think that's worth it. So that might save us a scroll. Maybe 1 feat is the right choice. Let's do 1 here. Okay, so 7 damage, leaving him at 13. Screw it, I'm doing another feat. So now that's 12 damage, putting him at 8. So my strategy flipped completely because he missed, because now we might be able to just kill him using our dice and save the scroll for later. So hope for at least 8. Yeah, that is more than 8. Okay, so King's Protector looks scary, but actually misses. So we get 4 XP, and the reward. Again, I'll just take the gold and let's roll on the rewards table. It's a 5, which is a holy potion, or 4 HP. I will take the holy potion just for a possible final boss like Ox Remains that curses us. There was one where you didn't need a holy potion. I think it was the Champion's Remains. And the King's Remains, now I'm unsure. I think one of them you didn't really need a holy potion against because they didn't poison or curse you, and the other ones did. Well, anyways, let's move down. Starve, because we spent all of our food on potions, but that was intended because we got 6 HP for the piece of food instead of 3, like this. Spend the gold to refresh our amulet. Draw the delving cards. Bloodgate or Forbidden Gate. These are both bad, obviously. Now the curse we could quickly get rid of using the potion. 2 HP. Let's take the curse, and if we don't find a quick cleanse, we can use the potion. Okay, onwards. Let's roll again here. Another XP for us if we follow the zigzag path. Yeah, so right now the 2 is way worse than the 3, because 3 is 5 healing and 2 is essentially 1 HP for us at this point. Yeah. Area 8. We are on floor 4, so the really bad monsters start appearing now, I should say. Corridor might not be too bad, because we can't fall, but actually, what's the criminals say down here? Poisonous assassin. I still think we don't replace the corridor using the amulet because there's a chance of food for us. Oh, and also I should get rid of the King's Protector. He's done with. That's a 3. Oh, and I realized I probably should have cured the curse beforehand, but didn't get punished, so piece of food. Nice. There's the lab again. Now we could do the same thing. Or the soothsayer. Could also just buy a potion. What's better for us here? So the lab, that would probably mean we starve again. So that's a cost of 3 HP, possibly. The soothsayer for 4 gold. We just get the potion. Our torment increases by 1, which means our HP decreases by 1 because our tormentor has been dealt with. But that's way better than the 3 for the food. This way we've got the food left over. Now what potion am I buying? You know it. It's a healing potion that I'm drinking immediately. Or drinking my existing one to make space for. So up to 18. Soothsayer has really been nice for us. Fountain or the astral chamber. Yeah, the astral chamber, just a bit of a weird one really at this point, because yeah, nothing too great there, just single HP up and down. Yeah, and fighting the assassin is just of no interest to us. But I want to leave myself the choice here, so let's use the Radiant Amulet, though we might not be able to refresh it, because we just spent all of our gold, I realize now. The old clock, sure, whatever. Actually now I'm spending the holy potion to get rid of the curse, because this might benefit from a success. Hey, and there's one. Was a bit scared there, but the last die was a success. But it's the cash anyway, so that's a potion. So we can just get back a holy potion, or we can get a frost potion, which I will do. And let's try to not get poisoned or cursed again. The armory keeps turning up. Or a monster. Yeah, so on floor 2 this is great to fight, because 2 XP is a lot on floor 2 and you can easily kill it. On floor 4 this is just annoying, because the reward is bad and the damage and draining XP, yeah. I mean, I guess we could do it to gain the gold for the Radiant Amulet, because this has been really good for us, but let's try the armory here, because the armory is just plain good. Wow, okay. 666. Devil's Roll, but that's only 2 feats anyways. But now we've got the Fair Longsword with 2 feats on it. And yeah, that's that area. So we went the zigzag path accidentally, so we gain 1 XP, which will be 1 HP. So we're really sitting pretty now, except for the food, which we will now spend, and also are missing gold. So no Radiant Amulet next floor, which has really helped us this whole run. So lose 1 experience or possibly get cursed and poisoned. This is easy choice. We just lose the experience. Okay, there we are. So Flagellant really, as I anticipated, kind of a dead character on these lower floors. The penance early on was nice. Again, I think we used it once or twice, so that probably gave this run a boost to get off the ground early, but other than that, the character hasn't been too amazing. First room, corridor again. I mean, if it keeps giving us food, I'm not complaining. A 5, no, that's falling down, which we can't fall down, but we still take 2 damage. Okay. trap or trap. Which one is worse? Losing food, losing armor. Actually, I don't want to get blinded, and because we can't fall here, the poison would suck, but poison is at least not as bad as curse. Yeah, so I think this trap. Though the other one could give us food, but I will do this one. A success on a 5, that's a perception potion. We can't even carry that. Do we dump a healing or frost for that? I don't think so. Let's continue. Another trap, which is the Abyssal Veil. Or a monster. These are both bad. And we don't have the Radiant Amulet. Now the monster we could probably deal with using a scroll, but that's really not gaining us much. And the Abyssal Veil, we have a good shot of succeeding and it could give us food, so I am tempted there. But the curse would be bad and the blindness would be even worse. Let's trust our dice here. Trust our level 3. Bad choice. Okay, so we are cursed, but at least we're not blinded. And that means we have to throw the armory. Didn't even think about that when deciding to go there, because we only have space for one item. And we can discard the Abyssal Veil at a shrine, and we now take 1 damage each time we refresh our skills, which won't happen because we are not using our skills, right? But yeah, let's just continue here. Whoops, knocked everything over. Now the lab again is getting a bit much because we don't have food. And I mean, we could use the conversion, turn our healing and our frost potion into a holy potion to get rid of the curse, but to me that just doesn't sound worth it. That plays a bit too cute, I think. So let's just visit the tomb. We might just get a holy potion there or get some food there. So yeah. No success there, and that's a 6. So we are actually fighting the assassin, which is not my preferred outcome, but let's do it anyways. Yeah, the curse might hurt us here, and getting poisoned as well would be bad. Okay, so curse triggered, which means instead of 14 damage, this is just 11. I'll just use the Scroll of Lightning, I think. Make this easy. So the enemy suffers 6 HP damage, putting him at 10, together with our 11 damage here. He's dead before he can hit us and poison us. We gain 3 XP, which will be 1 XP and 2 HP. And we've gotten rid of the scroll, so now we have space for another scroll if we want. So at the moment we've got the inactive amulet and the Abyssal Veil down here. That's the tomb. Not amazing, but I think could be worse. Now we are starving for 3. I think, I'm not too sure, I would refresh my skill, but because I have not used it, I feel like this doesn't trigger, right? Because the skills aren't being refreshed. That's the way I interpret that, but tell me if I'm wrong. Okay, we don't have the gold for the Radiant Amulet, which is annoying. Let's move down here. Draw delving cards. Countless doors or nothing happens. Countless doors are tempting, because losing the food isn't too bad. And the potion could just be healing for us, but nothing happens is the guaranteed choice. Because we are cursed, I'm not gonna do the countless doors, because then our odds of rolling a success are way worse. So let's just... nothing happens. And the treasure map, we didn't go the right way for that. Okay, final floor, and I forgot, we get to look at our final boss. So the King's Remains, that's the council boss. It's got a lot of health, and a lot of armor. So actually the, what's it called, the lightning scroll would have been great there to go past that armor. Yeah, so we kind of want some offensive magic against him, which we don't have. We don't have poison or fire right now. And he has some annoying effects, but he does not curse or poison us. And right, I remember, this is the guy that drops the potion in the first phase, and I think I always just took this as a poison potion to then use against him in the second phase to go past his armor. And I guess I could take a scroll there as well, but just getting the food scroll in battle wouldn't do us much good, for example, so maybe the poison potion is the right way to go anyways. Yeah, okay. I think our setup is okay for this guy. Getting rid of the Scroll of Lightning now is kind of annoying, but who knows, maybe we'll find another scroll. So let's look here, also roll for the treasure map. 2 again, and we've got the trap again, and we've not got our amulet, so we will have to do this trap. These traps have been a bit too many for my liking, especially with our curse. So now we lose, although the curse didn't actually do anything there, we lose 1 HP and we are poisoned as well. So now we really want a cleanse. There's a merchant. He sells cleanses. There's a deathbed. It doesn't. It sells the opposite, poison. Actually doesn't sell it, gives it away for free. Now the merchant might... we're not visiting the deathbed, that much is clear, but are we buying anything here? Because we don't have money, but we could sell one of our pieces of armor or one of our potions. Frost and healing are both great, so actually this might be the late time in the run where I like to sometimes sell armor, because it's not going to block too much more damage for us. To buy a healing or holy or something like that. And in this case it's just going to be the cleanse from the merchant. And we have 1 gold left over. Yeah, that's fine. Could sell more armor to get enough gold to buy a scroll, but that would, 1 piece of armor wouldn't be enough, so we'd have to sell a lot there. So that doesn't seem worth it to me. Alcove or corridor. I feel like we're not getting rid of the Abyssal Veil in this run, because I've not seen a shrine now. We'll visit the alcove to have the choice, and because the corridor is just annoying. We'll roll, but we won't be able to pick anything up here because of the Abyssal Veil. So actually didn't make a difference there. Treasure or trap. Easy choice. Yeah, easy choice. Enough said. So 2 gold and let's roll. It's a 3, which is a fire potion or 2 gold. I was kind of hoping to get back that piece of armor or some more healing. the fire potion though. Might be nice against this guy. So actually, we're missing 5 HP. So I think drinking the healing potion now is not too much of a waste. We are missing out on 1 HP there. But instead we can take the fire potion, which might save us 1 attack from the guy. So yeah, I think all in all, that's a fine trade. And the gold just isn't relevant anymore. So King's Remains, I like our odds, although we are not completely overpowered like we sometimes were, especially when we had the Scroll of Shapeshifting to just smite the final boss. We actually have to fight this the normal way. So he's got 3 armor, I have to remember that. And he drains our XP, so good thing we are so full on XP. Yeah, should probably still be fine here. Especially with rolls like that. So he misses and we are doing 11 damage, putting him at 22. And let's roll again. Yeah, we do another 14 damage. Killing the first phase without taking any damage ourselves. Exactly, I might add, because... oh, sorry. I forgot his armor. So first roll we did 11 and that would have then only been 8. So he'd have been at 14. And this roll we are doing 14, which is decreased to 11. So he should be at 3 now because we did 11 damage, which was actually 8 in the first round, and we're doing 14 now, which is actually 11. So we've done a total of 19 damage and he started at 22. So this is the perfect chance for us to use the fire potion to kill him. And now we finished the first phase without taking any damage. And it's a good thing we used the fire potion there because we now get back 1 potion as a reward. And again, I'll take poison for his second phase. So he's no longer savage and no longer drains our XP. He drains our food, which is just extra damage. And he dodges. That might get annoying if he rolls a 5, which he didn't. Okay, but he does crit. Because I think you can only use 1 offensive potion on each round. We can't poison him right now because this crit we really should use our frost potion against, I think. So we will be doing that. And I will also be doing a feat on this X here. Also should put him at 22. So 15 damage, but 5 of those get blocked by his armor. So it's really beefy armor. And he's not poisoned yet because we had to use our potion, our frost potion. Let's keep rolling. He crits again. Okay, so let's use the poison potion before I forget. This is 10 damage. I think all in all this is still fine. So we do 10, which is reduced by 5, putting him at 7. The poison potion does 4 to him, putting him at 3. He's poisoned. And he crits us, doing 6. He takes away 1 of our food, which we don't have, so that's 1 more damage. The dodge does not activate, which I'm happy about. And now he's gonna die to poison. So we've won. But we can roll. He crits again. Okay, so he missed once the first time, but he critted 3 times in his last round, but or in his second phase, I should say, but that didn't matter. Okay, King's Remains defeated as the Flagellant. Now, what made this run so strong? It was not the character, I can tell you that. I mean, early XP are nice, and the value of 1 XP early on shouldn't be underestimated. I think what made this run so strong was the Radiant Amulet. And also some really nice dialogue here and there. but the Radiant Amulet probably did more than is obvious. Just being able to always, you know, improve your cards on every floor, except for the last two. Yeah, Radiant Amulet, really nice, and especially so cheap. 1 gold is way too cheap for this, I think. Because unlike the Crow, which just has you replace the card with the top one, and the top one might be worse, the Radiant Amulet allows you to look at the top one and then decide if you want to replace. You essentially get your pick of 3 cards. Then if you've got 2 on here and the 1 on top of the deck, you get to pick the best one from those 3 to visit. Yeah. Okay, so much for this character. We've now got not many characters left, I think. Occultist, Tinkerer, Druidess, and the Huntress, and that's it. And then we'll have played runs with every mini rogue character there is at the moment. So then we could take a look at Beyond the Portal, or maybe the campaign after that, or maybe I'm fed up with mini rogues by then. Let's see. So this is at least 4 more videos, but you know how things go. This might also be 8, 12, who knows, depending on how many attempts. Okay, so much for the Flagellan. I hope you had fun. I definitely did. And I'll see you again in the next video. Bye bye.